Thank you, Chairman, for giving me the floor on this. The proposal is made that the date of the European elections should be moved from the date established by law, June 2014, to a date in May 2014. The law states that this can only take place according to Article 11.2 of the Act concerning the election of the members of the European Parliament by direct universal suffrage 1976. If it proves impossible to hold the elections during the defined period, in this instance June 2014. The draft decision of the Council simply states that it proves to be impossible to hold the 8th election during the corresponding period of 2014. I have to ask, why? Why is it impossible? What is making it impossible to hold these elections on the due date, which is June 2014? No reason is given, and none has been advanced to this committee as to why it is impossible to hold these elections in June 2014. It has been said that this is about allowing for a greater period before the summer recess to get a commission in place. That may be so, but that proposal alone does not make it impossible to hold the elections on the lawful date. The reality, therefore, is that this is no more or less than a matter of perceived political convenience. The fact of the matter is there is nothing in fact or in law which makes it impossible to hold the elections on the due date. So let us call this proposal what it is. It is gerrymandering. In the absence of a lawful proper reason for moving the date, you risk the following. If the elections are then held otherwise than in accordance with the law, a challenge to the very legality and validity of the elections by a disgruntled political party which feels it would have done better if it had longer to campaign with a June date. And at the moment, no proper, honest, lawful reason having been advanced to meet the conditions laid down by the law, this draft decision is on the face of it unlawful. The sort of thing is, of course, quite typical of the EU and its institutions. The rule of law counts for nothing and the law is simply ignored. It is actively subverted here on a daily basis. This committee is supposed to be a constitutional affairs committee. In the absence of a proper reason, you really should adhere to your own laws. Thank you.
Well, the Council is making this proposal for the same reasons that we set out, and that is that next year in Germany, on the dates during which the elections are supposed to be held, there will be holidays going on, and that makes it more difficult to participate in the elections. I mean, I think the impossibility of holding the elections mentioned in the rules should be understood not as an absolute, but relatively speaking. I mean, there's that difficulty in Germany, and there are also the difficulties that have several times been raised in the European Parliament, which relate to coming up with the properly constituting the decision-making bodies of the Parliament and so on. And that would make it more difficult. That's more difficult to do if the election takes place in June rather than May. Those, I think, are the reasons which were proposed by yourselves, I believe. So if there are no further comments, Mr. Agnew, I think. Please.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes. I was reading the list, sorry. And then Mrs. Tyne, is that right? No one else? No. Okay, well I see there is consensus then.